What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables. We are going to continue reviewing the sessions from last month. This time we are looking at an over 5,000 hand session, winning $118 at a 1.22 rate and playing for 9 hours during this day. That shit is crazy. That's a lot of poker, you guys. That is a lot of hands too. Let's jump right into the action. We are going to start out at the 25 NL, playing ace 10 suited from under the gun +1. We open 2-3x. We get a call from the hijack seat and the big blind. See a three-way pot, 235 in there. Flop is king high two-tone. We have middle pair and backdoor nut flush draw. Big blind leads out for $1. We elect to just call here. I think the big blind is going to be leading out a lot of strong hands and some draws in this spot. We get a call from the hijack as well, and we wind up turning the nut flush draw. Once again, the big blind bets $1.50 this time. Just make a call, getting great odds on the flush draw, and we can add some more chips when Pocket Rockets plays behind us, which they do. And there is our flush draw, hitting the nuts on the river. Runner clubs. This time big blind checks. There's $9.85 in the pot. Let's try to extract as much value as possible. We make it $7.75. We get a call from the hijack seat, and we take down this pot of almost 100 big blinds. Still at the 25 NL table, we have pocket queens playing from the big blind in this hand. We get an open from under the gun to 2x and a call from under the gun +1. Small blind completes, and we put in a 3-bet, 250 to go, 5x the open. Under the gun calls, under the gun +1 gets out of the way, and we get a call from the small blind. Flop is jack high two-tone, 2 spades out there. We have the queen of spades for the backdoor spade draw, and the queens over the board. Small blind checks. We continuation bet half pot. Under the gun gets out of the way, and we get a call. The 6 of spades comes on the turn, giving us 1 card to the spade draw, as well as the queens over the board. Small blind checks. We also just check here. I like continuing betting in this spot a little bit more, especially against a recreational player that has such a low fold to bet percentage on the flop, turn, and river. And the river is a little bit of a scary card if they were calling with a flush draw on the flop. They got there on the turn. If they were calling with a jack on the flop, they got there on the river, and they bet half pot into us. But we can see that they are betting 100% of rivers and not showing down that great. So I think this is actually a pretty easy call against a player who is betting literally every single river. So I do make the call, and we are up against pocket nines, and we take down this pot of $28.90. Still at the 25 NL, we are looking at a coin flip that is about to happen. We get a big raise, 10x raise from under the gun +1. Salasso likes to put in those big bets and plays a very tight range, but will wind up folding hands pre-flop, has a high fold to 3-bet percentage. So we are putting in the raise here, hopefully folding out hands like ace king and pocket jacks, maybe pocket tens that would be playing in this spot. Maybe we get an ace king to fold as well, but they jam the rest of their stack in, and we are not going to be folding ace king here. We do make the call. Classic coin flip. We have a lot of outs going into the river, but we don't get there, and we wind up losing this one. Here is another cooler situation. We have aces in the small blind, open to 4x, and the big blind puts in the 3-bet, a little bit more than 2.5x the open. They are doing this with a pretty wide range and aren't folding very much to 4-bets here, so I am going to be putting in a 4-bet, make it 15-50. They jam the rest in, and we are never folding aces, so we are going to be making a call here. Just a cooler in a short-handed situation. Only 3 of us being dealt into this hand. I think I'd probably play jacks about the same way. We make the call. Flop avoids a jack, turn is the ace, and we have them drawing dead going into the river, and we take down this $100 pot. Here we have another cooler situation. We get an open from under the gun +2 to 3x, put in a 3-bet with pocket kings, and we get a 4-bet into us and elect to just see a flop here, playing in position, and that could not be more of a perfect flop for us. We have top set, already $99 in the pot, lazy bets 36 into us. We we just make a call here with the set of kings. Turn is the jack of clubs, and lazy gets the rest of their chips in. We, of course, are going to be calling with our set here, and we have them drawing to an ace on the river, which misses, and we take down this $403 pot. Once again, we have pocket kings. Looks like about the same situation. We get an open from under the gun +1, and we 3-bet from under the gun +2. ESP Poker jams the rest of their stack in right here. 240 big blinds. Even though ESP Poker does this with 86% premium hands, I am never going to be folding pocket kings here unless this is a complete nit who only does this with pocket aces. So I do make the call, and we are once again up against aces, and we wind up losing this time. It is a big pot of $210. And this is one more cooler situation. We have aces this time, and we are up against kings, so we're playing from the opposite side of this one. We get an open from under the gun +1, and we're putting in a 3-bet, $11 to see a flop. There's the 4-bet, $35. We are pretty deep stacked here, starting out the hand with 122 big blinds, which we jam all in. Pablo is 4-betting 88% premium hands and is not folding very many 5-bets at all. So we are going to get our chips all in, and we get a call, except just like that hand earlier where we hit a king, Pablo hits the king on the flop. We are drawing to an ace, and we do not get there. Wind up losing this 241 big blind pot. That was pretty ugly. Not that many big hands in that session, so let's jump right into the next one. Smaller 1,500 hand session where we actually lost $215. Not any crazy huge pots. We lost 100 big blinds with this one. This one looks pretty interesting actually. We have pocket kings in the cutoff at the 50 NL table. We get an open from under the gun to 3x. We put in a 3-bet with the pocket kings, and we get a call of our 3-bets. Flop is king high, 2-tone, 2 clubs out there. We have top set. Runner lucker checks. We continuation bet half pot. Runner lucker calls. The turn is the 7 of hearts, not improving any hands out there. We continue betting here, make it $14.50 to go, 2/3 pot. And runner lucker calls. We have only 24 left in our stack in a pot of 52.75, and the river completes the club flush, and they jam $25 in, putting us all in. Can't really be folding here. We're getting over 3-1 on our money, so I do make the call and see that they did hit the club flush on the river, and we wind up losing this big pot. How about a little jack queen suited playing from the big blind at the 200 NL table? We get an open from the hijack seat. Runner lucker, the same player we just got in a hand with, and make a call here. See a flop, which is king high, 2-tone. This time we have the club draw as well as a gut shot for the nuts. Check the flop, and runner lucker continuation bets 2/3 pot. Runner lucker is most likely not going to be connecting with this flop since we have the clubs and blockers to the straight. So I put in a 3-bet here, trying to pick this pot up, but don't mind getting called in this spot. But we do fold out their hand, which was most likely ahead of us at this point in the hand. And now we are looking at ace queen offsuit at the 200 NL table, playing from middle position. Folds to us, and we open to 3x, $6. Folds to the big blind, who makes a call. Flop is 7 high, 2-tone, 2 hearts out there. We have 2 cards over the board. Aaron Vega checks. We also just check on such a low and draw heavy board. Queen comes on the turn. This time Aaron bets almost twice pot, over betting here. Very interesting play. They must see a high fold percentage in our stats here, but I don't think betting this much is really necessary. I think it accomplishes the same effect when you bet pot or even close to pot. I do call here with top pair, top kicker, and the 6 of clubs comes on the river. This time Aaron checks, and we just check. I think we definitely could have gone for some value there. I don't know what kind of hand would bet so large on the turn and then check the river unless they're trying to bluff induce us. But if we do bet and get check raised, we're in a tough spot. So I can understand just checking back and getting to showdown here. Interesting hand though. Head down to the video description and check out all the links for the poker products that I use and highly suggest you guys also use. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not done that yet, and turn on your notifications if you are subscribed. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below, and I will be back soon with a new video video. But until then, see you guys out on the virtual felt.